Hello and welcome to another IG Live. We are going to be talking to author Octavia Burney, and I'm excited to talk to her about her book Marty, about a very special dog. And this is one that it's really great book. I've had a chance to read it myself. It's about a burn victim, a young burn victim, and this very special dog. We'll talk more about exactly how special. The very special dog that helps her kind of emotionally get through the very difficult time of healing from the trauma and of the burn that she suffered, and going through the process of physical therapy and so on. And we're going to talk about what kind of impact that can have on a child to read a book like this, whether help them feel seen in the books, or perhaps build empathy for somebody else who's going through something they have not experienced themselves. So we're talking about the role of stories. Hello.
Hi.
So nice to actually get to meet you in person. Well,
Yes.
in person.
Reorganize this.
That's all right.
That should be a little better, hopefully. Can you see me? Okay.
Well, nice to talk with you today. Why don't you go ahead, for those that don't know you, introduce yourself and tell us, what was your journey to becoming an author?
Well, I've always loved to write since I was a little kid. I've been writing since I could write. And I've always loved books. Books have always been something that I've always been passionate about. And I've always wanted to write a children's book. My first book was actually a poetry book. And then when I got burned, I decided to write a children's book to kind of help other burn survivors, but also help children find their strength in my book as well.
Right. And something we should also mention is you have a master's in clinical social work. So I'm really curious, from that kind of perspective, what impact does it have on kids when they're able to see themselves in a story like yours?
I think that representation matters in books, and stories play a vital role in children's mental and emotional health. So I feel like with children and the characters they experience, they go on the journey through the book, and it can foster a sense of belonging and also validation. In the story of Marty, the theme for me has been having faith, and having faith in God and the presence of God, which was emphasized in Marty, which can provide children with a sense of hope and guidance as they read different stories, not just Marty, but any story that they read, to try to find the positive in all stories. And it's essential for children to feel also empowered to express their emotions with, their teachers, their parents, their families, their siblings, and having that positive responsiveness from their parents.
Well, and Marty is definitely a book that helps kids, exactly like you're talking about. You have the representation, helping them work through their feelings. So tell us about Marty and a little bit more about the inspiration behind it.
The inspiration. So Marty is actually an actual dog. We adopted Marty when I got burned, about a month or so after I got burned. When my mother had to go back to Virginia, and then my husband had to go back to work. My husband just wanted someone to be there with me throughout the day since I couldn't do anything. And I was always a person that was very active. So when we got Marty, he was like another little human being. He would play and keep me inspired throughout the day. He actually helped me get back into going back outside, even though I couldn't walk that well. Just going outside, getting fresh air, me throwing the ball, him bringing the ball back. That kind of helped me and inspired me to write this story, to kind of help people, through their journey through healing as well.
Right, and tell us that. Well, we'll get into it a little bit, but the Marty in the book is a very, not just an ordinary dog, but how can, as you mentioned, you wrote Marty during your own healing process. How can your book help children who are going through a healing process themselves?
Healing can be challenging for children, even for adults, but
Right.
it is a vital process that they can learn to navigate with the right support. And through understanding their emotions as well as their experiences, children can begin to process their feelings, build that resilience, and develop different coping strategies to kind of help them through. By providing a safe environment and encouraging an open discussion, we can help them recognize their healing that takes time, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not understand why you're feeling in such some ways. It's okay, but it's also important to aim to empower the children as they're healing and offer, that relatable and practical stories to help them throughout that.
One of the things I loved reading your book is that it's not the injury that she suffered is not just like one event that happens. It's the whole journey, like that she has to be in the hospital and she misses Christmas and then she comes
Yeah,
home and physical therapy and she's not sure what to think about that and sometimes she's like you mentioned about the emotions, sometimes she's really grumpy and she doesn't really know why. Even she pushes Marty away when Marty wants to play with her and her mom's like, why are you doing this to the dog? The dog just wants to help you. So it really is like this whole process that sometimes I think people don't really think about, like all the different stages that a kid might go through. And I love that you're writing from your own experiences, like you really know what it's like to go through that and the emotions a kid might be experiencing at different points in that journey. So that, I thought that was something that was really amazing.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, Marty's inspired by the real life Marty that you adopted.
Mhm.
What was so special about that relationship? I mean, you kind of talked about some, but could you tell us more about what about that relationship that you had with Marty that made you want to portray it in a book, especially for kids?
So when we first, I kind of put it in the book a little bit, but when we first, my husband called me and he's like, he went to take the trash out and he found out that there was an animal shelter near the dump. And so he goes into the animal shelter and then he called me. He was like, I think you would love this dog I'm looking at right now. And I'm like, where are you? And so he comes back and he picks me up. And like I said, I couldn't really walk on my left leg. So I'm like hopping around. And he was like, I want to show you this dog. And I'm grumpy. And he was like, I want to show you this dog. And so we go into the animal shelter and I see this cute, fluffy um, dog. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's so cute. And he's the only dog in the whole place that's quiet. All the other dogs are having a fit. And this one dog is just sitting there so chill. It kind of reminded me of my husband because he's like very chill and I'm like, woo, like have fun. And so it's just like it was kind of like him. And so I'm like, okay, if somebody's gonna be there with me, I would rather it be, even though he's a dog, it's still like kind of that sense. And so
I have to say the illustrations in this book are so cute, and I think that's my favorite illustration is when they're at the animal shelter and they see Marty, who's very chill, and he's
mhm.
literally like leaning back at the beach or something. I just thought that was so cute.
Yeah, so we took the dog. They allowed us to take him outside to see like how he would react to us. And so when we were outside, the lady's like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Okay." Like I don't know like what's about to happen. And
Right.
so the dog literally comes right to me and puts his head in my lap, and I was like, "Yes, we have to take him with us." So we ended up just adopting him that day. We didn't want to make like just a bad decision. So it was like, okay, is this the right decision? So then we talked about it a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I think this would be like great for us to have a dog. And so we adopted him, took him home, and of course he had to get adjusted. And then we found out, I think like he had heartworms or something.
Mhm.
So I had to take extra care of him like he was a little baby, even though he was already 2 years old. And so that process is just so, I put it in the book because that's really what happened. Like he was just so chill and he came right to me when we took him outside. So I was like, yeah, this is the one.
Well, and I don't want to give away too much, too many spoilers about the book, but I don't know how much you want to talk about this. The Marty in the book is not really just like any regular dog, right? But
No,
she finds
it's not any regular dog. Sometimes when we go through, I would say, healing and through like different things that we go through in life, whether it's, anxiety or depression or healing from a burn or healing from cancer or whatever it is, um, sometimes we create things to do because we can't get out. We can't do a lot of things. And so we kind of create things to do inside the house. I wasn't a big TV person, so reading a lot of books was like my thing and writing during my healing journey. And so when I got Marty, he just kept me so entertained. And I was trying to figure out a way to incorporate how that would feel as a child. And so that's why I created Rainbow Land. But you have to go and read the book to get more information.
I love that. That's great. And I think people can get an idea of like of it. But yes, you have to go read the book. What do you want kids to take away from this book?
um, you said what I want kids to take away from it?
Yeah, like kind of the overall message, or maybe just like the feeling that you want them to have after they read it.
Um, I think that through struggles, there's always triumph. There's always a positive at the end of every struggle. And so I aim for young readers to recognize themselves in the story. I want them to see that, like Olivia, they possess an inner strength that allows them to overcome those challenges. And
Mm-hmm.
also it's important for kids to understand that with the right support system, like I said, with their friends, their family, their teachers or mentors who offer that authentic love and encouragement, they can accomplish anything that they set their mind to. The book serves as a reminder for true resilience that comes from within and that connection that others can empower and heal and grow as well.
I love that. What a great message for kids, to have today, especially if they're dealing with something as traumatic as suffering from a burn. But you've also mentioned this is great for kids who haven't gone through something like this. It talks about the power of friendship, love, laughter. How can your book help kids who haven't gone through this build empathy?
I think that many individuals can find valuable insights in Marty, the story in particular, regarding the importance of fostering personal relationships. For me, it was God. I don't know, what other people who are listening, what their religious background is, but for me, it was God. And so I incorporated that in Marty. And for those that are religious, those connections can provide, that guidance, that strength, that comfort when you go through challenging experiences. And it can also have a narrative way that underscores the vital empathy for others and interactions because you never know what someone else may be dealing with. Like Olivia in the story when she went back to school and the incident happened, that hurt her feelings, and maybe that child didn't know how what he was doing was affecting her. So having respect for others that are going through unique challenges, whether that's ADHD, whether they're going through they're autistic, whether they're going through a cancer treatment and they have to lose their hair, whether they're going through a burn and they have a burn, on their face or somewhere visible. But everyone has their own battles, and often we are unaware of those emotional struggles that others carry. So bullying or teasing and not being nice to someone that is facing a difficult challenge is not okay. So being nice is always the best way to be, and offering a smile can go a long way when you're dealing with other children in the classroom, on the playground. Just being nice to other people. In this world where everyone is faced with their own challenges, it's important to choose kindness and promote culture and compassion, and remembering that small gestures can make a significant and impactful, can be impactful in someone else's life.
Yeah, what a great message for kids that even just something as simple as smiling to somebody else or
Mhm.
playing with somebody who's on their own or even just not teasing them, not doing something negative. But this is a book that could be you could have written this in a different way that this would, because she's going through a really hard time. Like this could be a really heavy, really sad book. And it does have moments that are heavy, but I think the overall feel of it is very joyful. And I know that's something that's important to you personally about how you bring joy into everything. Why was it so important for you to write the book like this so that you do kind of walk away with this very, very hopeful, kind of very joyful sense, even though she's gone through something or is going through something so difficult?
I think just I'm trying. So joy for me, like I said, where it comes from God, because like going through a burn experience, it was very painful. I went through different phases of, there's different phases like anger. You can be joyful 1 minute and then a nerve pain will happen or something would happen unexpected. So being joyful in those experiences forced me to reevaluate the different perspectives that I had on life and how things should go. And initially, excuse me, the internet was, of course, overwhelming. I was frustrated. I was confused. All of that. It was a lot, but I navigated that in writing. I navigated that in talking about it and blogging and writing different posts and sharing with other people about how it's important to embrace your scars and not hide your scars. Because at first, oh, I don't want anyone to see this part of me. I'm just going to wear, long shirts in the summertime and cover myself up or whatever. But I had to embrace that part of myself because someone else needed to see that, and someone else needed to be able to embrace whatever they were going through. And it became clear to me that even in the darkest moments, there are glimmers of hope and beauty to be found. And so by embracing this duality of that, I realized that joy is not just simply the absence of suffering, rather a profound choice to find light amidst in the shadows, and this time of resilience and the capacity and joy in my trauma helped me and resonated with me as well as others.
What a beautiful message, and such a great thing to teach to kids, to have that resilience and to choose joy, to choose kindness, not denying that there are hard things that happen or bad things happen, but despite that you can still find joyful moments and still find hopes. That's an amazing message. So do you think that are you thinking of writing more books, either for kids or for adults? As you mentioned, you have a book of poetry for adults.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have. I'm already working on another book. Marty is actually a series. So there'll be several more Marty adventures. I don't want to say too much, but there'll be several more Marty adventures, maybe the end of 2026 or 2027. I'll be releasing another book. I also will be releasing some other books that I've written, like poetry books, and I write a lot of poetry. So a lot of other projects I'm working on. I also do voiceover work. So I do a lot of voiceover work for different companies as well, whether animations or if a company needs my voice for something medical, a medical script or something like that. I do voiceovers for that. And I also, of course, I just graduated from my clinical social work degree, so I'll be starting work in that field once I receive my license in a few weeks. And so there are a lot of
You
different,
have a lot going on.
yeah,
You
a
wear a
lot
lot of different hats.
of,
And I love that. I love too that you have this very creative side, and then you have, the clinical social work, which is kind of, I don't know, like left brain, right brain, kind of,
right.
you kind of do both of those. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for taking the time to share with us. And I think it's such an important story and important message for kids to have. So we appreciate you coming and taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and I'm grateful to be able to talk with you about Marty.
Yeah, and then when we see the other books, oh, thank you.
I was going to show this is Marty.
Yes.
It comes in paperback or hardcover. I've sold out of all the hardcovers right now, but and then I also have our little Marty dogs.
Right, yes. And people can find this if you go to the link in her website. I mean, link in her bio, you can find the website where you can find
Mhm.
all of these. That is so adorable.
Thank
And
you.
t-shirts and other things too, right?
Yes, I have t-shirts. I actually just boxed them up. They're in a box, but I have the t-shirts that says "Embrace Your Scars."
Mm.
You are beautiful. The storm saved me. And one says my dog is my therapist because he was my therapist going through that process. And then I have this one, which is The Storm Saved Me, which is my first poetry book.
Beautiful. And people should also just go to your website to read the blog. You have really beautiful blog posts, very thoughtful. So um,
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for like I said, all of this you can find if you go to her Instagram profile, which of course we'll have linked to. You can find all that and the link in her bio to the website where it has the shop, it has more about the books, blog posts. So
Yes. And this book is actually on Amazon, and Marty is also on Barnes and Nobles. Um, for those that shop on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. And we're actually getting more of the Marty dogs in stock very soon. We are working very diligently with our partner to make these for us.
those are so adorable, and you can buy them as a bundle too, right? Isn't it like
Yes.
in the book? So
Yes.
that would be that I could just imagine that would be such a cute present to give to a child to have the book, and then you can cuddle up with the dog as you're reading it. The stuff. Yeah. Well, thank you for any. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is actually crocheted. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
It's actually like a little crochet puppy. So, yeah.
I like that. So unique. That's really sweet.
Thank you.
So anybody who joined us late, this whole thing is going to be on Instagram in just a few minutes, so you can watch it from the beginning, or if you'd rather, it will also be up on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it there as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and it was lovely to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. And thanks to all of you for joining us. And like I said, this will be up on Instagram in just a few minutes. Bye.
Bye.